We're here at the fourth annual Hollywood Brown Youth Football Camp, and I'm standing here with the one and only Goldfeet. Thanks for joining me on Off the Fields.
Thank you for having me. Much love.
Yeah, like it's good to see you out here. I saw you out here last year, right? You have a great relationship with Hollywood. So just talk about, like, what is your biggest philosophy when it comes to training? You're one of the best in the game right now. You just had an explosive star-studded workout recently, too, with Ocho, Jamar Chase, some of the biggest in the league. Now you're out here with Hollywood Brown. Yeah, what is, like, your biggest philosophy as you Goldfeet?
God the glory.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to start, I got to pour into myself so I can empty my cup and be a vessel and servant for the Lord.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything gets added on to me, when I hit my knees and I ask God for direction. So that's first of all. I'm saying my faith in everything I do, bringing the Lord into my work.
Yeah.
That's my cheat code.
Yeah.
That's my superpower.
Football and faith go together. I mean,
most definitely. You know what I'm saying? 3 F's always.
Yes.
Faith, football, family.
Right.
So for me, it was God. I wasn't praying for this moment right now to have Goldfeet Globe. I wanted to make it to the NFL.
Right.
And certain things I was doing in my life, I felt like I wasn't on that straight and narrow path. So God sat me down and I listened.
Right.
I surrendered and submitted to His will and purpose for my life.
Yeah.
And I feel like God put me in that purpose.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of players are really bold and they're feeling more comfortable talking about their faith, right? Because it's helped them in their journey, obviously, But what is something that you want the campers to take away when they come out here to these youth football camps? It's the season. So many camps going on, So when you come out here and you're a part of these camps, what is something that you want the campers to take away?
It's right in front of you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who's from here, somebody who grew up just how you grew up. They was on that knee, looking up at certain coaches and certain NFL players and getting the same information, but it's the application.
Right.
So when you look at Marquise Hollywood Brown, right, he applied the information that was given to him. And from that, he was the smallest. Not too many people understood the journey that he's been through to make it where he made it.
They said I heard that, like, his heart, the size of his heart makes up for his size,
Most definitely. And in that, right, he went junior college.
Yeah.
He went JUCO. After JUCO, he get a chance at Oklahoma, balls out, and goes first round. So just look at that story. Go to junior college, and he's working at Six Flags.
Right.
He's not coming home. He craft, and he on the field putting in some work.
Yeah.
Then when he coming home, he putting in some work with me.
Right.
So just adding all that together, like, God gave him a gift. He put some work behind it, and then found some people, that has a good tree that bears good fruit. That understands him, that loves him, and able to pour into him, and got a chance to make it. So I would say the visualization of, right, this person is where you're from, right, and you have an opportunity to make it to the NFL, right, because this person's human, right, but understand the little details and how he got there, right, is the craft.
Exactly.
Being a good person, building character, and that you're never bigger than the program.
Exactly. And, talk about character, what you're doing off the field, right? He's on the field, but off the field at the same time right now. And so when it comes to player development and, athleticism, right? What are some of those key skills when it comes to the position of a wide receiver that these young campers should really perfect and work on?
Hand-eye coordination.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Catching the football.
Right.
I'm saying to play the wide receiver position, you have to know how to catch the football. From that it depends on the team, the system. It depends on the person, because you have so many different wide receivers. Some are fast, some are taller. Some know how to run routes. Some are possession receivers. Right. But keep the main thing. Right. Whatever you have that God gave you, work on that. Right. And then work on those weaknesses where you're fine tuning and priming those things and figuring out how to fill that void. Right. And that's getting help. So when you break down a receiver position, you think of hands, right? You think of releases. You think of how to stem, right? You think of IQ concepts and schemes. If you don't know the playbook, you're not going to get on the field. Yeah, playbook reading is really important, right? Learn how to read your plays. Sit down with your coaches. Sit down with your wide receiver coaches and go over those plays so you really have a good idea and a grasp on the play reading, especially when it comes to games. Most definitely. Yeah. And just being able to, for me, right, how to make it to the NFL, right? So as a trainer, having fun. Right. And I feel like when you're in the NFL, right, people don't understand that it's a business. It's your job. Yes. So once you put business before fun, right, sometimes you get lost. Yeah, or fun before business, partying and getting distracted and fast cars and all types of stuff. Oh, yeah, that's a different type of fun. Yeah. Yeah, that's not the fun I'm talking about. That right there can end up have you outside of the NFL.
Right.
It's distractions. You know, you start leading with your flesh and not the Holy Spirit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's why it's important to have that as your center. You know what I'm saying?
Got to.
So I love that, you know, you're all for that and you advocate for that. Open and loud, no problem. You know, I love when trainers are doing that, you know, because that's all about mental. But I think another good skill at these camps is the media training, right? That's where off the field comes in, right? Why do you think, you know, camps, clinics, media training is also a drill and an essential that they should have as far as their development as a player?
Most definitely. I mean, you have to have that because you're not going to be able to control the narrative.
Right.
Right? So less is more.
Right.
You know, understanding when to say things, there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
So the media trainer is going to have you have less traction in your life. You know, from people posting and clickbaiting.
Yeah.
You know, and
clickbait, false narratives.
And
twisting words, you know.
Definitely.
And knowing how to handle those encounters is why media training is here at the camp today, right? We're going to talk with some campers, you know, get them doing the training, but they're going to feel better as they keep elevating in the sport, you know, to have these media interactions and doing interviews. Because we know athletes and interviews, that's not always.
I don't like interviews. I'm going to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
I just say this, you know what I'm saying, in front of like, I respect what y'all doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't go on podcasts. I go behind the scenes.
Right.
I grind. I'm like a popular loner.
Yes.
You know, everybody knows me, but I train and I go home.
Right.
You know, I'm with my family.
Yeah.
So I respect you. You know, I respect what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hustle.
Yes.
You know, but it's also, you know, giving us a better understanding of who we are.
Yes.
As people, as men, as women.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes we don't understand that we're lost. Like, we're living in a world where, you know, it's a monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
It's a copycat world.
Yes.
You know, so I respect what you're doing, you know, as far as the media training. It's big. I didn't have media training growing up, and I feel like I remember those interviews where I know I won it back.
Right.
You know, so
salute. Thank you. You heard that from Goldfeet. He's telling you guys right now to make sure that, like, you know, you take advantage of the media training. So it's great out here. They're finishing up, about to do some awards, but it's been a long day. So Goldfeet, thank you for joining me on Off the Field.
Appreciate you for having me.
Pleasure. Always good seeing you. And good luck and congratulations. These big winnings over here.